Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. You may have seen me mention recently on other videos that I'm taking part in ShakeTube 2017, which I'm very excited and absolutely terrified about. However, I did decide to give it a go, and this is my reaction to the first book, which was The Taming of the Shrew. Now basically ShakeTube, if you haven't already heard of it, is that it's a sort of read-along that's been set up by a group of booktubers who are encouraging people to join in and read a Shakespeare play a week, and then on Friday everybody uploads their sort of reaction video to it. I must admit I was absolutely terrified of this. I wanted to give it a go, but I felt that actually Shakespeare was probably beyond my intelligence level. So I was really pleased that actually I was able to read this. I wasn't as intimidated by it once I got started as I expected. The first thing that really struck me when I started reading it was the connection to the 10 Things I Hate About You film, which I loved when I was a teenager. I knew that it was connected to a Shakespeare play, but I didn't know which one. But as soon as I started to read the synopsis, I knew straight away that this was the one. So I think that helped me to feel a little bit more confident as I was reading it. The way that, I don't know what edition you're reading, I have no idea what edition this is. New Penguin Shakespeare, but it's set up basically, it has the play in the first section, and then in the second section it has the kind of commentary, which takes the lines and then gives you more explanation of ideas. To start with, I was reading them alongside each other to make sure that I was really understanding everything, but after a little while I just thought, I'll just look when I feel like I don't know what's happening. I'll just look at the commentary if I feel that I'm not following the story. And I was delighted because actually I felt that I didn't have to look at it that much. I found it much easier to understand than I expected. Now this is one of Shakespeare's comedies, which I don't know, I've never felt that they appealed to me as much as the tragedies, and I think that that is also evident in the reading that I do now. I think I much prefer a kind of depressing murder mystery type thing than I do enjoying a light-hearted read. I think that comparing it to 10 Things I Hate About You helped me to get started, but actually it's not, obviously, but not 100% the same. But it's less than 50% the same, I'd say. The concept overall is, but it goes down a very different route. I enjoyed this more than I expected. I don't think I'm going to be running out to read all of Shakespeare tonight, as it's the best thing I've ever read, but it was much easier to access than I had expected. I spent most of the time reading this aloud. I found it easier to understand that way, and my son likes me to read aloud, but I did feel extremely pretentious when I was sat in the garden reading Shakespeare to my 5-year-old son, and I thought, I hope nobody can hear this because they're gonna think that I'm absolutely mental. But anyway, my favourite part that I really enjoyed when reading this was when I kind of had a smile on my face, like, oh, this is almost funny, and that made me feel like I actually understood what was going on. Hortensio says, "You'll leave his lecture when I'm in tune?" And then the answer is, "That'll be never." And that just made me smile, and I thought, how incredible is this moment that I'm reading Shakespeare, understanding Shakespeare, and actually laughing at Shakespeare. Didn't see that one coming. So I really enjoyed this because I felt it was much more accessible than I expected, and it's made me feel much more confident taking part in other weeks of ShakeTube. However, I'm not a massive fan of the plot. I have issues with it. I understand that it's to do with the time that this was set, but there are a lot of issues around husbands' ownership of wives and the mistreatment of them to get them to do what they want. And generally that didn't fit right with me. It made me feel a little uncomfortable. I appreciate that it's a historical work, so it will be impacted by that, but I think in this day and age the ideas just felt a bit wrong. It alarms me that there was ever a time where wives were referred to as possessions and that they had to please their husbands and all that blah. So that's put me off slightly. But overall, a fantastic start. I'm really looking forward to watching everybody else's ShakeTube videos to see what they made of this, see if there's understanding that I didn't get, probably. And I'm also really keen to get started on the book for next week, so I'm not having to read it on the day of the video, because that has been a bit of a nightmare. If you're joining in with ShakeTube, then let me know, and if not, explain yourself. Or not. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.